Now, you guys are working at the moment on your sort of debut release for Season of Mist, pretty incredible label. And I hear you guys are sort of 3/4 of the way through. What sort of things have you explored here that you haven't sort of explored before and that sort of thing?
I guess it's coming out different, but I guess some of the reason of that is just because Portal of I was, the songs that ended up on Portal of I were written between 2005 and 2009. And so there's really several chapters of the band represented on that album. Whereas with this one, we've sort of written, you know, what we've done so far all in the last 6 months. And so in that way, it feels a little bit more unified as far as the sound, because it feels like this one big chapter of our, you know, lives right now. Benji sort of only joined the band when we were sort of 3/4 of the way through writing Portal of I. So I guess having him on board from the beginning, Benji's been writing a lot of the music and being a really big part. And so that's been, I guess, part of that, you know, a little bit of a shift in some of the guitar work, because Benji's style is just a little bit different. And so, you know, yeah, I think that's will always be the case with us. We'll probably never do 2 albums that really sound that much the same, and we'll be pretty happy with that.
Would you say there's a sort of any sort of themes emerging in the new record and stuff? Like
a bit more brutal.
Yeah. You know, bringing together something like classical elements and say black metal, is that it almost feels like there's a lot of correlation between the two, that there's a certain majesty and drama and humanity almost to it. Have you ever seen people just be really affected by the music and surprised? And because it is surprising music in some ways, like you hear it and it doesn't sound like anything else.
I do have the recollection of a great gig which we had a couple blocks down at the Annandale Hotel, which was for Rockfest 2010 maybe? And that was great. Like, I'm sure there was lots of people who had never heard of us before, and like just the faces. Some of them were like looking around, like not sure what was going on. Some people were just like smiling, a light stoner smile.
I remember that show as one of like our early highlights, and one of the things that was exciting about that was that there were so many people there who didn't even know who we were, who were like, wow, I've never heard of you guys before, and that was amazing. Not that you need validation, I mean, but we had 3 years before we even played one show, and we're just playing music for ourselves, and then to then go out there, you know, and get, you know, responses from people all over the world that, you know, they appreciate what you've done. It definitely like helps make it worthwhile to keep putting that effort over and over and over again and keep writing.
Your last album was a great piece of music. I mean, undeniably. I mean, the Conservatorium of Music are introducing one of the songs into the curriculum as a study piece. Why do you think there is still this sort of stigma against heavy metal and this 80s sort of caricature about it?
I think for a lot of people it takes a while to understand heavy music, and you know, for me, I don't know, like, I mean, I heard Metallica 1 when I was like 12, and, you know, that sort of started the slow descent, and, you know, but...
The slow descent into darkness.
Yeah, you know, from there, you know, to, you know, Emperor and Immortal.
I didn't start it with metal, I guess. I started with like blues and stuff like, you know, my dad was always playing like gypsy jazz records or Led Zeppelin or, you know, Deep Purple on an angry day. And yeah, that was about it. I started with that, and then at school everyone was into Korn and Slipknot, and I'm like, no. Like, and
not feeling it?
Yeah, not feeling it. I'm like, yeah, metal's pretty terrible. Like, it's pretty bad. I don't get it. I don't get it. And one day, somebody came with an album of death, and that was it. That was the end of it. That was the end.
It was on.
It was on. It was finished. Like,
you started your descent.
Where can I get a guitar? What's going on? I'm on it.
Why do you think it struck such a chord with you?
I don't know. It's a magic of Chuck. I don't know. He speaks to me. He speaks to my soul straight away. That's it. I'm like, amazing. It is. It really is. It's amazing. I will always remember the night like a human. Just I didn't sleep. Like, what's this? What's happening? How can you? What's going on? What happened to that? What have I been told that Slipknot is metal? Clowns, literally clowns.
I went to NoFX and Pennywise and you know, hardcore, and then I went into all like, yeah, more the Trisha route. I got into Slipknot and Machine Head and Pantera, like all the big American heavy metal bands. And then it was really, I guess, like within the space of, you know, a few months, I discovered Soilwork, In Flames, Nevermore, The Haunted, At the Gates,
decades.
And all of a sudden I was like, like Europe, you know, like what are all the Americans doing? And
So
that
it's a
really
culture.
changed that really changed my understanding on a lot of that sort of metal, because more.
All in all, we're pretty open-minded, I guess. Like, it's not, we're like, yeah, if it sounds good, it sounds good. You know, there's no arguing about it. It's not like, oh, it's not metal, you know, or it's not whatever.
Because, you know, 6 people aren't ever going to agree 100% of the time.
You guys are about to go on your first international tour to Asia. There's been a long sort of history of people saying that, you know, to be a successful Australian band, you have to make it overseas first. Do you think it's still true?
Yes and no. Look, I mean, here in Australia, we're doing well, and we're getting a lot of support. We've obviously done okay so far without going overseas, but obviously for us, like, the Australian metal scene is only so big, and so for us to take the next step, you know, we want to be pulling these sort of crowds in Europe and the US and Asia as well, and the only way to do that is
get out there,
get there, and then get there again, and then hopefully
yeah,
after that.
Definitely.